Everyone, it is Coach Maggie, Certified Health and Lifestyle Coach. And today I want to talk about intermittent fasting. Now, it's interesting because here we are coming up on Thanksgiving and the holidays where we will be doing a lot of feasting. But today we're talking about fasting. We are all familiar with that. If you've ever had blood work done, or maybe you were going to have surgery, anything like that, then I'm sure you have probably fasted before. It's just taking a break from eating. As a matter of fact, if we take the word breakfast and you split that word, it's simply breaking a fast. And we just call it breakfast. So we all do that. During the night, we are fasting. But typically, people get up and boom, we hit the ground running and immediately want to eat. Not everyone, because I typically don't. But we have been told for years, and I think it was the breakfast cereal companies that started getting that out there, that breakfast was the most important meal of the day. But now there's more and more research saying, no, actually, that's not necessarily true, at least for most people. Now, you may have a condition that requires it, but for most people, that isn't necessarily the case. So I want to talk about intermittent fasting. That's simply taking an extended break from eating. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, I skip meals all the time. That actually tends to get us into trouble when we haphazardly skip meals. There's no rhyme or reason. And typically, what it does is we skip a meal and then we go overboard on the next meal. But when we're talking about intermittent fasting, it is more strategic. It's planned. It's not a, oops, I forgot to eat. So the idea is just extending that break so that your body has a chance to heal. So, for example, if 7 o'clock last night was your last meal, and maybe you got up this morning, if you didn't have breakfast until 7 this morning, that would be a 12-hour fast. But the idea of intermittent fasting is slowly working it to where that increases. So, especially if you're someone that doesn't feel like they have to eat right away, you might be able to go even longer. But maybe let's say you think, well, first of all, why would I even want to do it? So again, the idea of intermittent fasting is you are giving your digestive system a break. You're saying, hey, don't worry about it. Don't come into work until 10 or 9:30 or 11. And you're giving your body a chance to take care of all the food that you ate last night. Too often what's happening is we eat and we continue to eat, and then we wake up the next morning and we eat right away. And if you haven't had a bowel movement first thing in the morning, you're dumping more food on top of what's already in there, inside of you. And so it tends to create this continual problem where we're eating, but we're not eliminating near as much as we're eating. It's sort of like spending money that you don't have. You just keep spending, but you're not putting anything in the bank. So in this case, what you're doing is you are creating all kinds of problems. So it tends to lead to that inflammation in the body that leads to the joint pain, headaches, brain fog, a lot of digestive issues, constipation, all of those things. And if we were to extend that fast, have water, have black coffee, unsweetened tea, but don't eat anything or drink anything that is sweet, then that fast extends and it allows the body to take care of the things that you ate yesterday, get them out of your system so that it can be free to receive what's going to come in later in the morning or even at lunchtime, an early lunch. So again, intermittent fasting, it's more than just, okay, it's all about taking care of the food, but it affects so many other areas. Like I said, a lot of times people say, well, how can that make a difference with my headaches or my skin issues or my joint pain or this inflammation that I have tingling in my fingers? Again, the body gets so overworked. And when we get up and we have that meal right away, it's like, wait a minute, I haven't even taken care of what you ate yesterday. And now that I'm thinking about it, we still have some things to deal with from what you ate 2 and 3 days ago. But if we get into that habit of just reducing, or I should say delaying, when we have that first meal of the day, then it allows our body to get rid of everything. And all of a sudden, we start seeing we're feeling better, we're feeling lighter, we have more energy, we can think more clearly. And suddenly, these other things that seem totally unrelated starts to improve. Doctors ages ago used to immediately look at gut issues when someone came in complaining of headache, depression, mood swings, joint pain. They generally knew wisely, start with the gut. Because again, it's everything starts there. Well, the other way, the flip side of that is most disease starts here as well, in the gut. So if we can start taking better care of our gut, and one easy way, doesn't cost you anything, is start with intermittent fasting. So let's say you're that person that says, oh, I couldn't give up breakfast. But what about if you just slowly start extending it? So for example, maybe you're that person that sort of nibbles at night. Well, one of the easiest ways is stop doing that at night. Maybe make 7 the latest that you're eating at night. So then at least have that 12 hours and then just start there. So maybe it's 7 in the morning and then get to the place where you say, well, let me see if I can wait till 8. And then a lot of people, that's why a lot of times people will go towards, say, juicing or smoothie, because it's an easy thing. It's something you could take to work and you could still have. So that's one of the things, like, for example, my husband, I send him off with the juice so he can have that later in the morning, and then maybe a smoothie later, and then something more substantial later on. So there are lots of ways. You don't have to go from not having done this to, going clear to lunchtime. Just take it in small little increments that you can handle. But again, it's an amazing way. It's a powerful way. And it carries over into so many different areas. A lot of times women particularly will say it's even helped improve menopausal symptoms that they were struggling with. A lot of people think more clearly. So there are just a lot of different ways that you can use intermittent fasting that you will see that it starts to benefit you in other areas. So if you want more information, you're curious, shoot me an email, leave a comment, but definitely consider giving it a try. We know how we feel when we've eaten too much. Think of last Thanksgiving, last time you went out and you ate too much. You see the effects of what that does. But the flip side of that is getting all of that out, clearing out, having an opportunity to feel more vibrant, to feel better, have more energy, think clearly, and lose a few pounds. At least consider giving it a try. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you done it? Again, too often we say, oh, I could never do that without even ever trying. Just take it, even if it's 15 minutes, and then next week or a few days later, you try to extend it 15 more minutes until you realize, wow, this isn't as hard as I thought. So again, I'd love to hear what you're thinking, but give intermittent fasting a try. You will be so glad you did. And like I said, it doesn't cost you anything. Take care and God bless.